But now that we have that out the way, let's move on to our next hot topic of the day, and that is Insecure. My fave.
Oh boy. I probably shouldn't even talk about Insecure. I'm gonna probably say something like, sound like a hater, but I really don't care. Let's get into it. Because I got some stuff to say.
If those of you don't know, the newest season of Insecure has premiered. It's running. It's going on right now. We're in the mix of, that post Daniel, post Lawrence phase of Issa, Molly, having fun with her new bae, like all of that. Lawrence, with a new boo. That's what we have in this new season.
I'm proud of Lawrence.
Well, what? How are you tired of Lawrence? Everybody loves
Lawrence.
I'm
proud of Lawrence.
Oh, I'm about to say, no, for real though. You should definitely be proud. Lawrence was caught in a situation where like he loved someone, and someone hurt him.
They treat him like trash.
Okay, I don't know about trash, but like the idea of the cheating on somebody is trash.
Hey, we're about to get into it, but I want to make this point since we already brought Lawrence. This is one of my notes anyways. Bro, when I watched season 2, I was like, wow. Because, all right, I had to like binge watch to catch up for this episode. Because I had like, my viewing sporadic. But
yeah,
I was like, wow, they really hit this man all of season 1. Like, not even on no like, all right, Lawrence is an objectively attractive person. Like, he looks like a supermodel. Like, in season 2, he had the pearly whites. I'm like, bro, this is not the same person from season 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy the glow up.
That's the whole idea. So the whole, I think, with the whole Insecure and Issa and Lawrence's relation is the fact that she even talked about in this, most recent episode, was the fact that like Lawrence, she was with Lawrence during a time where he had potential. He was somebody who had potential relationship. So that's especially how he carried himself, how he moved, how he was thinking.
Is that the last episode that she said this?
Yes, the most recent episode. Okay. The one that premiered Sunday on, today's what?
She gets to reap all the work I put in.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
But it's facts, though.
It's not facts.
It's facts, though, for a lot of people.
It's not facts.
It is facts for a lot of people. It is facts. Because here's the thing. She was in a relationship with somebody who had potential. Like, he was unmotivated. He was unmotivated. She was to take care of things for the relationship. She felt like she was doing stuff, even though she wasn't in a place where she enjoyed her career or enjoyed what she was doing. She was still doing what she had to do to make sure she was straight and they were straight. And I think she was feeling like, here is my man, Lawrence Bay. And he is not handling his business. This dude all on the couch, doing nothing, not trying to do something because he's talking about something that he's planning to do, And it's just kind of like one of those, like, continuous cycle of frustration. Then she's witnessing this man from her past, and he got
regular dude down the street with basic beats that nobody wants to hear, as we saw in season 3. Whatever, continue.
Here is Daniel, a man that's like, actually, like, it's not just he's talking about what he wants to do, he's doing it. Whether it's great or not, he's doing what he said he wants to do. It's doing what he's doing.
Who's doing it at a higher level now?
I mean, is he? Because they talk about, spoiler, they talk about layoffs. That's what they're talking about. So I don't really know who's doing what. Because
you're gonna have a job to get laid off. Does Daniel have a job? Question.
Daniel has a career. He is an entrepreneur. That's his profession.
Have you seen who he had in the booth? I'll take that as a yes. All right, continue.
Hey, Homeboy got some actually pretty good tracks, though. I ain't gonna say that about that. But that's not the point. The idea was that the fact that, like, she was with somebody who had potential. And then she was feeling resentful in the relationship, does something she should have never done. Cheating is never okay. I don't condone. She did it. Now they weren't together, and now he's with somebody who is being able to reap the benefits of that potential. And I think that's a valid argument that they are throwing out there that a lot of women have. Like, this is crazy. Like, these are the discussions that Black women be having, that Black men and women be having, and they just threw it in there. And it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good.
Okay.
We're starting to center around this relationship topic. We need to center around the look, the feel, and the energy of the show itself.
We don't get all that. We don't get that because we're gonna agree on all that. This is the hot stuff. This is what they came. This is what they paying. Well, not paying, but this is what they came to see.
We already know Insecure is innovating in that retrospect of like the visuals and the music matching up with the vibe. They ended off the episode.
I don't want to say innovating, executing at an extremely high level for sure. Well, it's disrespectful to say it's innovating.
I think the show is very innovative in regards to like telling this level of storytelling about like Black people and their relationships.
No doubt.
I think it's definitely innovating.
That's innovating. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to just sit here and say that the shots and stuff are innovating. I mean,
the shots are really just crisp and clear. But I'm talking about the storytelling. But I will say this, like the idea of the music really just syncing up really well with the story.
Bro, I would have know about that. It's the transitions, bro.
Raphael Sadiq, shout out to you because you be right there with the music game, and who else be working with you on that? That must be hitting.
That's because, bro, it's the transitions. Every time you go from one scene to the next, it's always like a song. Even if I don't know the song, like if it's well, it's like a song you normally wouldn't hear on like a big time TV show. And then like the visuals, it's like it's LA, it's like this, or it's like.
Then you seeing people who look like us, so it's like really, really good.
Like when we went to that store in the last episode, I think, and they had the uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I was like, oh, okay. I had to go find that on Spotify. I ain't heard this. Thank you.
No, for real. I agree with you. I even finished off I think it was really cool how like, spoiler, y'all. Spoiler. If you have not watched the episode that came out on Sunday, April 26th, do not listen to the sluts part. Do not listen.
Yeah.
But if you get Lawrence, doing that same thing that folks be doing, that send that emoji con to your ex when they post something, we already know where that leaves. And we see how quick Issa responded to it too. And then obviously you hear Maya's song about the exes play, it's just smooth, bro. It's so smooth. And I think that's just another example of how like really good there are people behind the team. Just make sure like the story and like the sound design of the show itself matches up so well with one another. Like I said, Raphael Sadiq needs to get like respect, and if there's somebody else, forgive me for not shouting you out, but like
Issa Rae and Larry Whitmore. What's his name? Larry Whitmore, the guy that
the producer,
also legendary writer.
Also, for sure,
crazy career, but even had his own show at one point. It got canceled.
He did.
But it's actually kind of funny. I watched some reruns. But anyways, like I think them being the head of the show, I think it shows. Like if I don't know if they are, but it feels like they have a hand in everything. It's like, all right, it needs to be authentic. I saw somewhere where Issa Rae was talking about like the locations, how they film, you know what I'm saying, in like on location throughout LA, like these really in the communities, you know what I'm saying? Which I also wrote about that. That matches with like the music, the transitions, like everything just looks like I'm really there.
Like I'm there. Like
the wardrobes are interesting.
Yes.
It's always something different, but it's like, man, that's kind of a dope look.
Yes, like for sure the wardrobes. I was just like, I go lie. I was looking at this episode because I'm like, dang, where'd Molly get that jacket from? Where did she get that blazer from? And I'm like, fire. They're probably like $5.99 probably, or a little bit more over my budget, but it still looks good. I'd rock that in a heartbeat, but it's definitely like you said. And then it's just also just like the color. And then people also talked about that too, in the past, that like when it comes to Insecure, it's a good example of showing how to light people of color, showing how to light people of various skin tones and put them in, sets where like not only the set is popping itself, but the people who are in those sets. And the wardrobe definitely just brings out the features and the tones of the characters. Like, definitely. But yeah, I think Insecure is definitely one of those shows which just like you said, we're right there, and we feel we're right there. And it's also one of those things where they do so many subliminal stuff, where it's like you don't even notice it, but it's pretty cool. So like, one thing I noticed this. And then I had noticed other people had noticed it too when I went to Twitter, was that the wealth gap between Issa Rae and Molly. Do you notice that? in some episodes.
You see it too, like in like their living quarters and stuff.
Yes, you see it in where they live, almost in how they dress. But if you notice in the most recent episode when they were at the grocery store, they purposely showed like the avocados being $3.99. I think like $3.99 a pound or whatever. Molly gets a huge bag of avocados. Issa Rae putting down her toiletry items because she's just trying to make sure this block party happens. Like they do things in such a subtle way, so it's just kind of like, dang, like you're noticing it, but you don't really like it. Doesn't really hit you until like maybe you watch it again.
You think that was in the script?
You're talking to somebody. No, this was there.
I'm saying, you think that was something they wrote into the script, or is that something they think that they got, like, the director was like, yeah, we need to do this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, that's something that was in the script, because I believe the director is Melina Moustakis. Like, for many of the episodes, Melina. And then Prentice, I believe his name, I'm sorry. I could be having it wrong.
He's on like
he writes many of the episodes. Most of the episodes.
He also directed like three. I think he directed 3 of them too.
Yeah, and what I've noticed from his writing, it's like somewhat purposeful, and I truly believe that he probably inserted that in some retrospect into the story. And then also you have to think about, like, I'm noticing in this season that there's becoming a divide between Issa and Molly. Like, their friendship that was once so close, whether how toxic or not toxic it was, the friendship that was once so close is now getting further and further apart. And we're seeing it,
every urge not to be an a-hole right now.
But we're seeing it in certain ways. We're seeing it like they're opposites in so many different ways, and how they think, the relationships, how they carry themselves, what they are doing in their lives, who they choose to be associated with. And, maybe the whole avocados is not as deep as I'm making it out to be.
I think it's definitely deep.
But it is definitely something you can notice. You definitely notice.
Because writing is crazy, bro.
Why put it there? Why mention the fact that she got to put her toiletries back, while she got a bag full of avocados? It doesn't make sense. Yeah,
the writing, bro, it's like, even just like that moment, the fact that like the characters will do things and contradict themselves like real people, or just like it's really good. Like, if you want to talk about revolutionary, I would say, yeah, the writing is crazy. But also too, like you mentioned, like them two, like the differences in like growing apart. I feel like there's a lot of parallels in this show. Like, even from like Lawrence's best friends, like the comedic relief. That one guy who I think is hilarious. But then like Kelly for Issa and them is their comedic relief. They're almost the exact same character. And it's just like parallel. The fact about Molly, how they're growing apart, how like the whole time Molly's been like the opposite to Issa, like the yin to the yang. And we're finally seeing like how that can pull apart. Like, it's very good because opposites attract, but also at the same time,
it could be detrimental. Detrimental. And they're showing that so well. And things just also too, they're in a phase right now where like they're growing, and they're growing beyond relationships. They're growing.
You think it's like
relationships? What'd you say?
You think it's like all because like they're natural? Like, Molly's way more of a, it has to be this way, my way or the highway, and then Issa's way more go with the flow, which is why the whole Lawrence thing happened for 5 years. But do you think it's mainly because of that, or do you think there's something to play with just like their careers? Like, Issa didn't have her job anymore. She's struggling with like real life, like couch to couch. Meanwhile, Molly's worried about some dude that like, they just have different levels of problems. Do you think that's weighing on them? Or do you think it's mostly like just personality finally running its course in terms of like conflict?
I think it's a bit of personality, because it's just kind of like career-wise, they still have their own struggles. So like Issa Rae left her job. She left that non-profit job because she just didn't like it. It wasn't for her.
Michael Ealy was gassing her. Oh, Michael Ealy, that's Junior Ealy, little bro.
Don't call him Junior Ealy. He has his own identity, his own persona, activist, all that. But he is very handsome. Like Michael Ealy is very handsome. But yes, I think it's just like they definitely have their own struggles, like with career and occupation wise, but it's different in a sense of, and it goes towards their personality. So like Molly's struggle right now, I feel like with her occupation is the fact that she feels like an outsider in her position. Why does she feel like an outsider? Because she puts herself in these positions where she's made out to be the outsider because she feels like I got to get it done, get it do it my way, get it done, we're good. And a lot of people don't flow like that. Then when it comes to then it goes with Issa Rae. It's just kind of like I'm going with the flow, trying to make things happen. I want this to be done. I want this to be really good, run smooth. That's why she's in a situation where she's, working on this block party with Condola, the new girlfriend of Lawrence, her ex.
I rock with Condola.
That's another example of, going with the flow, the personality thing. And definitely. Condola is cool. Condola is also in the show 20s by Lena Headey. That's on BET. Definitely really good. Really good. She's a really good actress. It's kind of funny because the type of character she plays on both shows is almost similar, but she's a little bit more go with the flow on Insecure. And it's crazy. But yeah, I think that's just what it is. It's just like their personalities are just, it's like you said, it's just run their course in regards to who they are. And I don't want to say run their course because here's the thing with friendships, either you lose them, and if they are meant for you, they come right back around. And I feel like based off the first episode of this new season, we saw them coming back. We saw them on edge. Like we see, she's like, I don't really mess with Molly no more. And we're like, what?
Oh, I wanted to talk about that too, bro.
And we go back. So right now we're in the past, technically.
They started a season off with a flash forward. I don't know if I've really seen that before.
In a show?
Like a flash forward, and then we just don't talk about it for like 3 episodes in a row. Like it's just like, all right, that happened, and then we're not going to address that till like episode 7.
Yeah, I think that's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, that is a little weird. The fact that, and then also too, if you didn't remember it, it
just never happened.
It never happened. So like they're not giving us constant reminders that we're in a flashback. Technically, like they don't.
That's what I'm saying. We're not in the flashback. I feel like that was just like a flash forward, and now we're in a regular story.
Yeah. So that I will say is very interesting.
It's dope. I feel like it grabs you. It's like, oh, what's going on?
But we see from the previews, like what we saw from the previews, that like
I ain't seen no previews, so I don't know.
Well, I'm the type of person who loves previews because they give me a snippet of whether or not something's worthy to watch. I just like previews because they hype you up. And sometimes previews hype you up more than the actual movie itself. I'll say that.
That sucks.
It's really sad, but it is true for me. That's why I love watching previews. Sometimes I like watching previews more than I do actually watching the movie that I go see. It's crazy. But no, I just feel like based off the preview, we definitely we see that Issa and Molly are probably definitely on the outs, and like they're trying to remold that friendship together. And like this is some excitement and joy with Issa, but it's kind of like hesitation with Molly. We saw that from the preview, and then we see in the first episode there's a flash forward where like Issa's like, I don't really mess with Molly anymore. So we're kind of like, ooh, what's going on, Okay. And I feel like they're doing a really good job of like showing us, that's key, showing us, not telling us how like they're slowly becoming distant from one another.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I think also just one of those things just kind of like based off from what I've seen, it seems like Molly is growing. Like she really is trying to grow.
Is Molly supposed to be a likable character?
I don't know.
Well, because I don't see.
I don't know. But would you say Issa is a likable character based off the stuff she does to people?
I think Issa is definitely a likable character. I think the things that make her unlikable at times are just real natural things. It's like why you would not be rocking with somebody for whatever reason. Like she does stupid stuff all the time. Like she's definitely messy.
Before we keep going down the rabbit hole of Molly or Insecure, let's move on to